Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I did the most disappointing movies of the year list, and now it's time for the worst. This year had legitimately some of the worst movies I've ever seen, so this will be fun. Now, disclaimer, I have not seen every movie in 2023. Most importantly, I refuse to watch the new Indiana Jones movie, so mayhaps this is a incomplete list. I spent a good amount of time putting this together, so let's stop wasting time and get on with this. Number 10, Silent Night. This is John Woo's return to American cinema, and it's both disappointing and frustrating. While there was some really cool action towards the end of the movie, it falls flat, most of it. The big issue is the script. The whole movie is built around it being a silent movie, meaning there's no dialogue, which makes sense if you want to make like a non-stop action film, but that doesn't really work because 70% of the movie is plot and a character study, which doesn't work when these characters just grunt and cry. It becomes incredibly boring and kind of unintentionally funny at points. Even the action was kind of mediocre. If I didn't know that Woo directed it, I wouldn't have a clue. There's none of his style in this. I put this in number 10 more out of how frustrating it is, because with that premise, you can imagine a unique action masterpiece, but what we have is a mediocre red box flick. I will say, that ending is pretty hilarious. Number 9, Barbie. I'm sick of this movie. I already talked about it in my most disappointing films list, but I still think this movie is a thematic mess, and at the end of the day, it's a commercial. And not even a good commercial like the Lego movie. I'll say I do still like the I'm Just Ken sequence, but that's been memed to death already. Just look at what SNL did.
Just me and I like drugs. I'm mentally ill and I'm on drugs.
Number 8, Shazam 2. I remember back when Sardonicast was still listenable, David Sandberg came on for an interview, and he talked about dealing with imposter syndrome. So when I saw the trailer for Fear of the Gods, and Shazam was talking about having imposter syndrome, it piqued a part of my brain thinking maybe Sandberg was trying to do something with the movie. And I was kind of interested, even though the trailer didn't look good. So it pained me when Sandberg proved the imposter syndrome right. I like Sandberg, and I don't entirely blame him for the movie being shit, but the movie is shit. I'm sorry. It's one of the ugliest movies I've ever seen. The pacing was terrible. These characters lost a lot of their likability between films, and the villains were terrible. Why is Captain Marvel fighting these Greek goddesses? What about Mr. Mind, Sabak, the Monster Society, Black Adam? Hey, remember Black Adam? Wasn't he supposed to be a thing? Why isn't Captain Marvel fighting his arch nemesis Black Adam? Shazam doesn't even really feel like the big red cheese. He's annoying as fuck. I really don't like him in this. I like the first movie quite a bit, but this movie just feels vapid and annoying and just unfunny. I hope Sandberg makes a really great, smaller movie after this, but this just wasn't good, and I hope with the new James Gunn shit, we can at least see Captain Marvel again. These next two are going to be a bit short. Number 7, Meg 2 The Trench. I was told this movie was supposed to be entertaining, but it was honestly just lame. Sucks to see Jason Statham in Chinese propaganda, but more interesting is that Ben Wheatley directed this. A guy I remember people propping up as the next big director. And now he's making this, which is kind of sad. Anyway, not a good movie. I don't really have much to say about it. Speaking of, number 6, Ghosted. It's insane that you can make a movie this bland and forgettable. It's wild that great actors like Adrian Brody and Ana de Armas ended up being in a movie with the same writing caliber as Far Cry 6. Like, it's the type of bad movie where there really isn't that much to say about it because it's just that vapid and bland. It's like an AI-generated movie. Speaking of, number 5, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Let me paint you a picture. Me and my friends were watching this movie as part of a Discord movie night. I thought because of the hate that the movie was getting, maybe it was secretly good, or maybe it was at least entertaining. We watched it and had to fight our way through it, and we eventually got to MODOK's death. By that time in the movie, everybody left except me, Doc, and Potato Man. And when MODOK died, they did that really stupid death shot, and Potato jokingly said, that just happened. You know, making fun of that type of humor in Marvel movies, and now it's become kind of a meme that they have that type of humor, like the look right behind me stuff. And we chuckled a bit, and then right after that, Ant-Man said this.
A lot has happened today.
And we all had a mental stroke. Big budget Hollywood films are broken. Hollywood is broken. Marvel's broken. I hate this movie. It is the worst MCU movie. Number 4, Cocaine Bear. My opinion has not changed on Cocaine Bear. Fuck Cocaine Bear. I have a bad video on it if you want to hear my reasoning, but it's just one of the most boring movies ever created, in my opinion. Number 3, Lady Ballers. I do not like this movie. Daily Wire, if you want to subvert Hollywood's trash, don't in response also make trash. I still can't get over how the Daily Wire just made you want a man again, but worse. If you want a good movie, watch Loqueesha.
Was was that?
I think I might be a black woman trapped in a white man's body.
Okay, now to the big cheeses. Number 2 and number 1, Rwby X Justice League Parts 1 and 2. This is it. The end of Rooster Teeth. Good riddance. Sitting through these movies is a pain. It was pain. They are horribly animated, boring, annoying, and some of the worst versions of the DC characters I've ever seen. Rwby was always bad. I'm sorry, it was. It's important in the history of online content, but it was always a poorly put together show, and these movies are the last gasp at its relevance. Nobody's watching this shit. I only watched the first one with my friends out of morbid curiosity, and the second one out of masochism. I looked on Letterboxd and part 1 has 2,000 views, and part 2 has less than 600. This has no audience. It's quite possibly the worst crossover ever. And I've seen a lot of bad crossovers. The conflict in these movies is terrible too. They get sucked into a video game and have to fight monsters. That's it. I don't give a shit that they are fighting monsters when I have no investment in the monsters. You might as well have these characters punching air. I'm sorry. These DC anime movies usually take the cake as the worst movies of the year, and this is no exception. Part 2 was possibly worse than the Justice movie, and that was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And the fact that these will probably be the last projects Rooster Teeth will ever produce makes it even funnier. Farewell, good riddance. On a positive note, Merry Little Batman was awesome. At least there was one good DC movie that came out this year. What a fucking shit list of movies. Okay, that's the end of the list. Sorry for being kind of short. I'll try to scrape together a best of the year list, though I'm still apprehensive since I haven't had the chance to see Ferrari yet. We'll see. Maybe I'll do it like in April. I noticed a lot of people did not like my disappointing films list, and that's fine. I will say Oppenheimer needs a rewatch, but I still don't think it's a very good film. But hey, that's just me. That's my opinion. But remember, these are just my opinions, and I've been Deet, and I'll see you later. And have a happy new year, guys.